Is Dubai shifting from an investor-driven market to a consumer-driven market? That's what we're discussing on this edition of Inside AB. I'm Bernd Busman and I'm here with Shruti Nair. So, Shruti, you had a conversation about the UAE's real estate market with Samer Abdin this week. What did he have to say?
Right, so I think Samer and Firaz, both of them were there for AB Live, which we just launched this week. So a very interesting conversation about the entire real estate market, but some key points that I took out from the conversation that we had was that, like you mentioned earlier, Dubai is moving from an investor-driven market to a consumer or end-user-driven market. So there are more people buying properties so that they can actually live in it. So there are families, smaller units settling in, etc. So that's what's happening. Earlier, people would buy for investment purposes. So this, according to Samer, is actually a sign of maturity because he can see that the market is growing and people are actually, they want to stay. So this can also be attributed to the new laws that have come about, including the 10-year visa law, the 5-year retirement visas, etc. So it can be attributed to that, but he says it's a sign of maturity, which is a good thing. And another reason why this could be happening is supply. So the properties that are being supplied right now are more, they're ready properties, they're ready-made properties and not off-plan properties like it was done earlier. So that could be another reason because people can just move in and start living.
So has that led to any visible changes in terms of market trends?
Oh, it has. So earlier, if one-bedrooms, apartments and high-rises, if that was popular, right now it's the community living and the community feel that people are actually looking at. So the sales of villas, of the bigger apartments or the bigger mansions, they've actually gone up in the last few years. So Arabian Ranches, Palm Jumeirah and the Springs, they've actually seen the average villa prices go down by at least 11%. So even the prices are coming down, the demand for these properties are going up. So it's actually a good thing that's happening with the whole community feel because people are actually looking for that. So just to give you a few numbers, so prices per square feet for a 3-bedroom villa in Arabian Ranches is just, it's come down from 1,098 dirhams to 980 dirhams. So, and communities, even Dubizzle, according to Dubizzle Property statistics, communities was in the top 5 searches.
Interesting. But real estate prices have gone down quite a bit across Dubai. What do they have to say about that? Why?
Right. So that's not the only reason, but the main reason that Firaz told me actually was that supply and demand, of course. So one word that we've heard a lot in the UAE in terms of retail spaces, malls, etc. is oversupply, but that has sort of creeped into the real estate market as well. So there is much more supply than there is demand for real estate properties and etc. So this is just, he actually spoke to me about this YouTube video where he saw that in 2013, 2014, there were people actually queuing to buy property. So there was like a huge rush. And now it's the other way around where sellers are really going out there and putting their properties out there and really want some buyers to come in. So earlier last year in 2018, the authorities announced that there are going to be 45,000 units of property handed over. Although it wasn't 45,000, it was still 25,000, which is a huge number, but there aren't as many buyers anymore.
So are schemes like rent-to-own schemes going to help at all?
Yes, but only if it's regulated. So that is one huge problem that there is right now. So the rent-to-own scheme is a very lucrative scheme. So for those who don't know what it is, basically tenants' rent goes towards the purchase price of the property of a certain home, basically. That's what the rent-to-own scheme is, right? It's a very nice scheme. It's something that is going to encourage more investors and buyers to come in and actually like buy property and not just live as a tenant. But unfortunately right now the DLD, the Dubai Land Department, isn't regulating it at all. So what really happens, although the scheme is still prevalent in the market, not as much as it was before, what really happens is there's a contract that is signed between a buyer and a potential seller. And the contract isn't, again, it doesn't follow any law. So it's just a very sidey agreement that is signed. So what Firaz says is he would not advise anybody to go by that because, again, there's no way you can actually get out of it once you've signed the contract. So the rent-to-own scheme is nice, but it has to be regulated.
Well, thank you, Shruti. An interesting and important story. Of course, there's a lot of stories about the UAE's property market at arabianbusiness.com. So if you want more details, head over to the website and check those out. As always, you're watching Inside AB. Make sure to tune in every weekday morning at 10 a.m. and subscribe below. Thanks.